My daughter was diagnosed in 1982. She had uncontrollable seizures. It was a mystery, and actually to this day is still a mystery, why she started having seizures, why the first 18 years of her life were spent chasing seizures, horrible side effects, hospitalizations. We just saw our daughter just sort of disappearing before our eyes.
The day before I was about to go off to college, so a really exciting moment for me, I had my first grand mal seizure. So in college, I felt like I was heavily medicated. The grand mal seizures were controlled. I was taken off medication, and I thought I outgrew it. And years later, apparently I had a seizure while walking around the pool and fell in the pool. Little girls, fortunately, were in the pool and called someone, and they rescued me.
I was introduced to epilepsy when my daughter was born. Something was not quite on track with her as she was growing in the first couple months of her life. Nothing to really worry about until she had a seizure. And as we began to, go down a Google hole with epilepsy, her condition worsened and she started having worse seizures. And so now, as a 3-year-old child, she is not much further progressed than a 3 or 4-month-old child would be. And she doesn't really communicate. She doesn't really cry. She doesn't smile or laugh. She cries when she has a seizure.
So what's different about epilepsy in children is this sense of time. And so that's always in at least the child neurologist's mind, is what impact is this having on that child's brain? And when it goes on for a long time period, we know it can definitely cause damage.
Most 16-year-olds can stay home alone, and I can't because my parents are too afraid that I'll have a seizure. I've started having grand mals far more frequently recently, so it's always at the back of my mind. Like, sometimes it seems to happen at the worst times possible, so I'm just like wondering, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen today?
One of the hardest things about epilepsy, one of the hardest things, there are many, is how unpredictable it is, and so that we are always on call or anticipating or fearing that next seizure and where it might happen. And my daughter used to have, she had a warning. She had a feeling in her stomach. It was good, except that it gave her this sense of terror. And she would scream out, and then she would scream, "Mommy," and then she would know it was coming on. She'd say, "Make it stop, make it stop."
I am shaking, or I just wish my daughter could tell me what she's feeling. She's on all these drugs, she's on all these pills.
Yeah.
There was this one time after I'd had a seizure, and it was one of my worst ones. I was like arguing with my mom because I was so upset about it. I was like, why should I keep fighting? What if I don't want to keep fighting anymore? Because I was just sick and tired of having them. I wanted to give up. I wanted to be able to give up. And you could see the tears in her eyes because she knew like how strong I typically was. And she literally shouted at me, "You keep fighting because you're stubborn as hell."
I think what really brought myself and the other moms of Cure together was feeling like we had to fight because there were just no answers. People don't realize this can touch your life at any point. And as we heard with Caroline and Carol, it can look like it's gone, and then it rears its ugly head again. Or it can happen in senior citizens. It can happen after a head injury. 20 years ago, we never heard anybody out there saying, we need a cure.
Let's just get beyond the seizures and let's get at that fundamental cause. So in essence, we need new tools.
You know, we're trying to do things that think outside the box. This disease has been around for millennia, and we don't have answers, so let's try to go at it in different ways.
See, this is so important. If you're in a pharmaceutical company, how much are you going to be willing to go outside of that box? You have to deliver. If you're the federal government and there's a very, very small number of grants that you can give, are you going to go with that really, you know, amazingly creative idea? So that's where I think Cure is more nimble and can provide that impetus for people to go out there and try something different. Cure has done an awful lot.
I know that the work has been really meaningful on a personal level. It's impacted the field. And yet, every single day, there are babies being diagnosed. Babies lying in hospital beds having seizures after seizures.
We just need to keep at it. There were so many diseases I thought, like, wow, that's not going to be curable, and they're getting cured.
The only thing you can do is put your head down and keep on pushing, keep on fighting, keep on pushing folks like you to fight for us and with us, and pushing our kids to fight for themselves, and hope that down the road here, before too long, you know, something's different.